It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. The Sinclair Show is on. It's on. Run it to your friends. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is tight. Sinclair is on tonight. Once again, it's so you still trouble in your home. Got your tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we see that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your well. Keep it moving, spirit flowing, because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday, 8 and 9, and it's on. Once again, it's on. That's right. You're hanging with who? Uncle Sinclair on what? The Sinclair Show. Like the theme song said, the Sinclair Show is on. Don't want to miss a moment of this show tonight. That's right. That's right. Because we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. And when I tell you all, it is going to be something probably fantastic to some, might be a little sketchy to others, but we got some good things we want to talk about. I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions and comments to sinclairtalk@outlook.com. Going to continue to address as many as possible. Each time I'm going to add to reach you because you all are the valued listener. Now, what does that mean? That means without you all, there'd be no reason for me to be up here. Matter of fact, if I didn't have to do the show, I could probably be getting me some sleep. That right there. But instead, I must do my due diligence to be out here amongst you all, the people, so we could talk about the things that be on your mind, that you want to get the intel about, that you want to see what my humble yet professional view is on some things. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get down with that tonight, all right? Now, but before we begin, let's just talk about some of the things going on in the news. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all, there's three things in particular that I want to touch on before I hit the subject tonight. And it's crazy because all of them deal with the legal system. So I don't know how many of y'all been keeping up with the legal cases that been stirring up on your TV screens. And some of them are directly yet indirectly attached to each other, meaning you're talking about the cases down in Atlanta between Young Thug and his co-defendants, and how that's playing out. The DA who is caught up in a little fake web of her own, meaning Fannie. I think her name is Fannie Williams. And then the your boy, for those of y'all out there, my Republican colleagues, if you will, man, y'all done caught a bad week with Donald Trump, man. Donald Trump done, for those of you who've been hiding under the rug, the case in New York related to whether or not he and the Trump businesses and his sons had been running game on the people of New York and the banking system came to a closing climax, if you will. And it turns out that he and his sons and his businesses are on the hook for $355 million shillings, dollars, dinero, yen, rubles, whatever, 355 million US dollars. Now, I don't care how much y'all be out there in listening land talking. Let's make something clear. If you walk into a courtroom, any courtroom, and somebody says to you, whatever you have done, you are liable at this point for 355 anything, dollars, millions, whatever. That's a L right there. Okay. Not to mention, what was it, 2 weeks before that? He lost the case where he was, I don't even have to say alleged anymore. He was found guilty of sexually against her will, aggravated some level of assault on a woman years ago. I think her name was E. Jean Carroll. And originally in that one, he was found liable for $5 million. But then he turned around and started running his mouth and talking reckless about her. She sued him and won $83 million. Listen, people, if you lose $5 million, and I'm just saying this let me put it in regular folks' terms. Now, let's say me, hypothetically, if I was to lose $500, I'd be mad. Okay, I'm just keeping it real. I would be mad if I was to lose $500. But if I turned around and somebody told me that I was on the hook for $50,000, I'd really be ready to do something. So now think about your boy Donald Scrump, who is now on the hook for nearly $500 million with a B, not an M. $500 million. Now that's crazy. But that's what he's on the hook for right now. $500 million. And some of y'all gonna say, so why is that important? Whatever. Let me tell you why it's important. You know what I forgot to do? Let me recognize people that's on the show. Gwendolyn and Lady Elegance Pritchard, Huntsville, Alabama. Down there where they got a little problems at. Leetta Cole, glad to see you. Taya Matthews, glad to see you. Detective Pamela Black, glad to see you. Hey, mama. Mama's on the show. What is Taya talking about? She talking about Trump. Is Trump just going to file bankruptcy? Let me tell you, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. There go Cassandra Key, glad to see you. So I'm trying to get y'all to process this from a realistic perspective, if you will. So when somebody puts you on the loop for $500 million, it changes. Now, some of y'all gonna say, oh, well, he's a billionaire. Let me tell you where you're going wrong with your thought process, all right? You're going wrong with your thought process because somebody might, and I say this very loosely, I ain't got no proof, but I say it loosely. Somebody might say, oh, yeah, he's worth $1 billion. That doesn't mean he has $1 billion of regular cash on hand. That ain't what that mean at all. And the other side of that is this. Hold on. I'm up here listening to myself on the show. The other part of that is difficult for some of y'all to process is that when you look at what happens in a case like this, and Cassandra, you could tell me if I'm right or wrong. Oh, Legal Beagle. I was trying to look it up right then. In the state of New York, once you are found guilty and a fine or assessment is levied against you, then what happens is, even if you're going to appeal it, you are required to put the amount that you have been found liable for in a trust or escrow controlled by the bank or someone appointed by them to make sure you don't run out here and get reckless. And I believe I'm right on that. Legal Beagle, look that up for me. And so for those of you who say, well, can't he just do X, Y, Z? Okay. Their answer to that is no. And remember, part of the thing that was attached to Trump's situation was, remember, they had a special person assigned to watch over the Trump businesses to ensure that they couldn't be out there misrepresenting or doing something scandalous or trying to do business in New York. So there's a lot going on here. Let me see. What does Lady Elegance say? She said, Orange Man isn't a billionaire. He inflated what he's worth to be on Forbes magazine. Probably. That is probably true. But I would definitely say that what he has portrayed to the public is not what is going to be popping off here in the next few. Mind you, many have asked the question, well, doesn't it mean that some of his donors can pledge money to his campaign fund and he used that to pay off some legal bills? The reality of it is yes, he can. But it's pretty hard to do when you're facing 4 cases. I believe 3 of them to be federal and felony cases, criminal cases. So what he's been doing in the past is utilizing those funds to pay for lawyers and things like that. There's only so much money in the pot. And you got to understand something. The more debt that you find yourself in, there are certain risks associated with being in political office that sometimes can be a determining factor. Meaning, one of the things that they look at is what is in order for you to, I don't know if y'all remember it, but there was a time when they were skeptical about letting Donald Trump, even when he was as president, review certain security things because they didn't trust, because of some of the things and people he was attached to, that there weren't things that had him compromised. Owing $500 million does put you in the compromise category. All right. But anyway, I don't want to spend all night on that. Let's talk about Fani Willis. Now, this has got to be the craziest for those of you who've been living under a rock. Fani Willis is the prosecutor down in the ATL. For all my ATL watchers, what's going on? And she brought forth a RICO charge against Trump for what he and his minions have done to try to overturn the election and to get some fake votes counted and to remove some. All right. Let me see what the legal beagle done said. Cassandra says he has to come up with the money or secure a bond within 30 days. His real estate is worth way more. If he has to sell some of it off, he has the money. All right. Understanding what that means, people. He may not have the liquid cash. And the trouble with Trump in some of these cases is his ability to do business in New York compromises his flexibility there. His external properties, many of them have loans against them. So he is somewhat compromised with his liquid assets. But it is possible. And there are some who believe, because he is still in the presidential race, that he might find some foreign entity who'd be willing to give him some millions, overpay for some property, if you will, just to keep him in the clear. But again, I need you guys to process this. These are the cases he's already lost. He has a criminal case already scheduled to begin on March the 25th. And that particular judge, again in New York, has said, hey, look, I'm not caring about nothing nobody else saying. This is how I'm getting down. And to answer the final question about Trump, the reason why some of these charges, the way they have approached them, is important because many of them have been state charges to which, if he became president, he could not pardon himself. So you got to understand the magic there. But anyway, let's get back on Fannie Williams. Fannie Williams. Now, her case is crazy. She brought charges, the RICO charges against Trump and his cronies, as I said. And one of the persons who is charged in the RICO case filed a complaint saying that she should be removed and the case thrown out because of some alleged improprieties on her behalf. Come to find out, after all the hustle and bustle, she's accused of having an intimate relationship and thus alleged to have overpaid Nathaniel Wade, whatever his name is. And the allegation was he wasn't even qualified to be a prosecutor on this particular case, yada, yada, yada. So there is an independent judge who is making a determination through a fact-finding process in Georgia. And so Fannie Williams and Nathan and other folks then had to take the stand. And it was the most interesting thing to hear. What did they do? They went ahead and admitted, yeah, they had a relationship at a certain point, which in itself is not illegal. It may be frowned upon. Some of y'all out there doing the same thing right now. It may be frowned upon. However, it is not illegal. So then the question before the court, let me see what Ty talking about. I'm quite sure with all the Trumpers out there, they'll raise the money for Trump. Again, Ty, not to jump back on that subject matter, but you have to understand with the money that's being raised, he is having to utilize that for lawyers to fend off some of these other cases, but we'll talk about that another day. So Fannie Williams and Nate Dogg, whatever you want to call him, admitted that there was an intimate relationship. When it started was important, but the greater piece, and I believe legally, what up, Nikki Carter? Glad to see you. I believe legally the only thing that she is in danger of is if it could be proven. And here's what the allegation was. The dumbest allegations I've heard. She hired him, paid him more than what she should have paid him, and she paid him this money so that she could turn around, date him, and get some trips. That sounds crazy. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the part that people don't pay attention to is that in order for this to be an impact on this RICO case, she would have had to known years ago, 2, 3, however many you say, or they say, or somebody says they began the relationship. They would have had to have known then that this would come up. And as many different people, including her, took the stand, she said, hey, I paid for my own stuff. When we would go on trips, it would be 50-50. And when it wasn't 50-50, sometimes I treated him, he treated me. And so they was like, well, it looks like he was the only one paying because he was putting things on his credit card or his business card. So he takes the stand and say, yeah, I did that. I was the one who booked many of these things. However, she was breaking bread with me. And so therefore, she was paying her part of it. And people were saying, nah, that's exactly what they would say in court. And they called, I think they had one witness who was alleged to have been her friend at some point, who used to work for her at some point, who she had to fire at some point for not doing her job appropriately. She tells it. The lady who got fired says she got fired or let go because she had confronted her about some purchases that were inappropriate in the way that the purchases were made. I don't know. I don't care which one of them is true. All right. But let me tell you what is the problem. All of them could be lying. Fonnie, the witnesses, what she did, how she did it. But I came across some information because, you know, I like to get to the facts. I don't like to speculate too much because there's too many of y'all right now wish-washy speculating. Here's what I came across. Fonnie and old Nate Dogg took a trip to California, which they admitted in court. And Fonnie said, hey, when we went down there, I paid for everything on the trip. Now, let me say this. Some of y'all ladies don't know nothing about that. Some of y'all take trips, you expect your man to take care of everything. Fonnie and Nate said she ain't built like that. She's too, quote, unquote, independent. So she wasn't about to have that. So she said when we went to California to the winery and everything else, I was the one that paid for everything. Now, of course, everybody was saying she lying, she lying. Well, let me tell you what I dug up, and you can dig up for yourself. It appears that the people who manage or run the winery gave an interview with the media a few days ago, probably 2 to 3 days ago, and they confirmed that it was Fonnie who paid them in cash. And most of y'all was probably like me, like, well, how would they remember that from back then? I'm going to tell you why. Because the good old people in wine country, look at Nikki Carter defending her. The good old people in wine country said it was so unusual for someone to pay in cash because the majority of the people who will come to wine country, they pay with plastic. And so, James Keith, what's going on? Glad to have you on the show. So what wound up happening was they were able to remember her because she bought a couple of nice bottles of wine and some other stuff and paid with $100 bills. It was her paying in cash. So for those of you who are like me, you don't listen to what the people say. You look for the independent corroboration of some aspect. Now, they asked Fonnie Williams some dumb questions. They said, because they was asking, well, you had some bills. You mean to tell me you got cash like that in your house and you wasn't paying your bills? First of all, America, let me tell you something. And this is not just with people of color. Most folks got money and ain't paid all their bills up. Because when you got a few pesos and you work hard and you get ready to take a trip, you're not trying to pay everybody up front. Put that out your mind. Second of all, her father took the stand and said, since she was young, he always told her, make sure you keep some money with you, stash 6 months worth of bills or 6 months worth of cash because you don't want to have to depend on nobody XYZ. That's what the man went up there and testified to. So even though those people would have a reason to say something one way or another, the independent person, which would be the people at the winery in California that don't have no relationship with her, they just remember her because it was abnormal for her, for anybody to be paying in cash out there in wine country, Silicon Valley, Great Escape, whatever you want to call it. So I can't believe old Fonnie. So at the end of the day, I'm saying to you all, needless to say, if the judge cannot make a determination that her paying or hiring Wade, Nate Dogg, was for financial gain or benefit on her behalf, then none of the other stuff matters. She can't be disbarred from trying the case. And even if she could, it would only mean that another prosecutor, which obviously they would try to get someone favorable to Trump. But unless something else comes out that we don't know about, I don't believe there's enough for a judge to make it. And then look this, check it out, people. They were talking about they were going on cruises like you and I might go on. They were talking about they wasn't even staying at no super extravagant places. They were doing the same stuff you and I might do. Wasn't like they was going on to the Waldorf Astoria. They was come on now. So I'm just saying to y'all, I think it's much to do about nothing. Keep it moving, keep it flowing. All right. So, and as for old Young Thug, let me jump on that right quick. For those following y'all, the Young Thug case, he had a strange week. You know, they got folks playing audio of some lady saying he was shooting somebody. His girlfriend said he shot somebody. He was at her house afterwards. Listen, the funny thing about trials, he wasn't even charged for the shooting back in 2013, and you got information coming out. If that information gets to the jury, let me tell you what this is about. To get a RICO case proven, you simply have to show that there are 3 or more of the elements involved. One meaning, and it's about 10 different ones. Legal Beagle can tell y'all what they are, but you only got to get about 3 of them. One, you got to show it was a group of folks acting in concert to commit a crime. They didn't say that they was gang members that was out there selling dope on the block. That's a crime. You have to be able to show, I believe, that it was for profit. They got text messages and all kind of stuff with Young Thug asking them clowns, hey, y'all better get out there and get me that money. Let me see what Legal Beagle said. The issue is Fonnie and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade are accused of having an affair before and during the time they were investigating Trump for allegedly trying to steal the 2020 election, and Willis hired Wade to help oversee the election fraud case in November 2021, not the cash money or the trips. Well, Cassandra, there is a part of that is not totally accurate. If you go back and look at what's at stake, it is only about whether or not they can prove that there was financial gain or it was done with the intent to benefit Fonnie financially. It is not illegal for her to have had a relationship with him. It is the for gain part of it. And I was listening to some lawyers who were talking about that, and I researched that aspect of it. That in terms of this particular aspect of it is the most important part. The fraud against the system, meaning she intentionally put him in a position where she could overpay him and receive money back from that, is the part that would get her disbarred or get her kicked from this case and potentially disbarred if proven. The part about the relationship, though it is viewed as being distasteful, it is not illegal. Okay, anyway, let's get past that. So let's talk about what's on the hop, skip, and a jump tonight. Now, if y'all read the little post that I did when I let y'all know that the show was going to be on tonight, one of the valued listeners, and I ain't even going to tell who it was, but one of the valued listeners messed around and sent me this thing, right? And the reason why he sent me this thing, because he wanted me to talk about the fact that women, and y'all know I always put my disclaimers because I don't want to have no smoke from y'all out there in female land, because I know y'all get them pitchforks. But apparently there are websites out there that some, not all, I don't know what Jay Dizzle is, but he always reminds me to make sure that I put my personal disclaimer. Some, not all, are utilizing websites to try to increase their chances or to get some type of revelation about the type of man they might be able to acquire and the type of relationship they might be able to have. Now, at first I thought that The person sending it must be lying, probably out their mind, until they sent me the link, to which I posted it today for y'all to check out. It is called, or somebody's calling it, a female delusional calculator, asking what are the chances. And when you click on it, it puts that information and it starts to ask you a series of questions. What are the chances that she can find the man of her dreams? Now, let me show y'all something, because I screenshotted it because I knew some of y'all wasn't going to do your due diligence and others might think I was making it up. The first screen you go to, it's going to ask you what age, race, the minimum height, and the minimum income of the type of man that they looking for. All right. So I ain't knocking it. The Legal Beagle says, so now they're asking AI about that. That's what it's telling me. Listen, I thought it was something going on. But apparently there's a lot of women who are utilizing these AI formats, artificial intelligence formats, to try to get some edge up on finding the type of man that they want. Because they got certain things they want that man to be bringing to the proverbial table. So the thing tells them, just key in, what's the age demographics? You can pick between a range. Let's say some of y'all, you might be some cougars. So you might be going from 20 all the way up to 50. I don't know. I ain't judging. They asked race. Race up here got any color or shade, don't matter. You're looking for somebody white. You're looking for somebody black or Asian. Now, let me tell y'all what gets me. They ain't even put my Latino brothers up here. I'm feeling some kind of way. Then they want to know the minimum height. Now, let me tell y'all what else bothers me. Y'all probably can't see it, but this little block right here, it said exclude. You can even check a block that says exclude obese, meaning big men can't get no love on this type of site. Nikki Carter talking about shaking her head. She probably getting the pitchforks. Now think about it, fellas. They got computers alienating brothers and Latinos out the game based on your waistline, your neck size, all of the circumferences around here. Who was that? Hey, Robin Williams, glad to see you. Oh, Nikki Carter, yeah, they got your type up here. Matter of fact, this person put minimum of 6 feet. This is what killed me about y'all. Nikki talking about exactly. Any more glad to see you. So y'all using artificial intelligence to try to trick you or to trick somebody else or to give you a slight edge on finding a dude because you got some shortfalls in your ability to both find one or keep one. You done resorted to computer technology. Now imagine that. We can't get y'all to get on the computer and learn nothing. We can't get you to get on the computer and learn how to do some spreadsheets or something, but you can get up there. Brother Silas will say fat men like me are just short. Hey, first of all, we ain't even rolling with that, big dog. Nikki Carter said height, weight, proportion. First of all, let me ask you a question, Nikki Carter, since you want to jump off that bridge. What if brothers was isolating and alienating women based on circumferences and saying that the full-figured women or women that hit a certain age bracket or didn't meet a certain height requirement, that they was kicking them to the curb? How would you feel about that? Esther Shepherd, what's going on, armor bearer? Nikki Carter talking about men do, they're the exact same. Hold on. I'm not Valerie Strayhorn, glad to see you. And this is why so many of us will be single forever. Y'all done had a grown woman give y'all some grown woman knowledge. That's the Rashid said. I didn't say it. Let me put it back up there for the people. Valerie Strayhorn said, and this is why so many of us will be single for how long? She said forever, forever. Anyway, Nikki Carter talk about men do it all the time. Yvonne Rouse, glad to see you. Big Dog said Nikki Carter full-figure women are winning. You better believe they winning. They taking W's all day long. But I'm just telling y'all, you ain't got to take my word. You can go out here and find it for yourself. For those who just joined, y'all, they telling me that some, not all, women out here using computer programs to get a slight edge up on finding a man. Hold on. Nikki Carter said men like those BBL twerking women. Listen. I rocks with God. I don't even know what all that mean. I'm just going, I trust Jesus. Anyway, so on this, you asking, you got to put your age demographic, what race you want. And I'm going to tell y'all, we're going to come back to that at some point because for them to alienate the Hispanics, but some of y'all, I ain't even going to say it. What minimum height exclude? Here's one to get you. Minimum income. This person put up here, she looking for somebody any color between the ages of 30 and 50, at least 6 feet tall, excluding obese, and making at minimum 80 grand a year. Now, I just want to, I have a dream that one day all this foolishness will stop. And I may not get there with y'all. But I'm telling you, Nikki Carter said that's normal on any dating website. Well, Nikki, you would know because you own all the dating websites, apparently. I don't know what they posting up out there. But I'm telling you, you're sitting around here, you asking for, matter of fact, let me go and say this, because I done gave one disclaimer that said, I'm not talking about all women, because I see some of y'all posting up telling me what you don't do. I started off by saying some, not all. Don't get to defending something that ain't you. Now, Nikki Carter done told on herself. She done pulled a Donald Trump. She started talking about being on these dating websites. They tell me you can't know what goes on up there unless you up there doing whatever you're doing. So even after all that, let me tell y'all what else they got up there. They shoot you back with a probability. Now, I don't know if it's anything else that they're factoring in, but they told this woman, and this what it say, this what the computer generated back to her. Look at you talking about, hey, Miss Carter, whatever. It said, according to statistical data, based on the type of man that this woman was looking for, any race, 6 feet tall, not obese, earning at least 80 racks a year, the computer told her, according to statistical data, the probability a guy of the U.S. male population in your age bracket meets your standard is 2.1%. I could have told you that. You didn't need to go to computers to... You ain't gonna find the type of man you punching in because you ain't the type of woman you punching in. Come on now. Let me get some of y'all to give me a little slither of an amen on that. Stop looking for something that you're not. Even the computer recognized it. And I don't know, maybe it asked you some questions based on when you keyed in whatever you keyed in. But the computer said that it's only a 2.1% chance you are going to find the type of man you looking for, because for whatever you are, he don't exist. Here's another one that was looking for any marital status, black, at least 6 feet tall, any weight, earning at least 100 racks per year. The computer told her, according to statistical data, the probability of a U.S. male population ages 49 to 63 that's going to want to get with you, that's earning 100 racks a year, 6 feet tall, black. Well, it might have been that they wasn't projecting too many between 49 and 63 black males earning 100 grand a year. I don't know, but this one was down to 0.28%. Now, I'm just trying to let y'all know, y'all don't have to go to cyberspace to get the answer. All you got to do is pull up a few demographics about what's available to you. I ain't even asked the question I'm going to ask at the end. Right now, we're going to start with some demographics that you ain't got to get no, what in the world? Yeah, Big Dog said not even 1%. Nikki Carter talking about black men need to increase their earning power. Valerie Strayhorn says champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Y'all ain't gonna get none of. Now let's go back to Nikki Carter before I jump off with these statistics in her face. When you say black men need to increase their earning power, once again, stop searching for something that you ain't. Let me say this. For those of you who saw some of my shows when Tiger Woods was going through some things, and y'all were talking about, well, Tiger Woods is only dating white girls and this, and that. And I told you that it wasn't that Tiger Woods was only dating white women. Tiger Woods was dating the women who were in the circles that he hung out in. Now, what does that mean? That meant that black women don't generally, if you exclude, and this is not all, it's only some, if you exclude the environments that most black women hang out in, you're probably, not all, but most of them aren't hanging out in areas where the men, be they black or otherwise, making 100 racks a year, got theyself together. That's not what you out there getting. Now, you can't complain if you looking for somebody that's earning a certain amount and you can't go to the club or the establishment where he goes. Nikki Carter said Waffle House waitress is in his circle. Whatever. Tiger was dating who he had access to. Absolutely. Big Dog said, look, I'm a big dude. I would be crazy to overlook ladies if they shop at Lane Bryant's. I'm just saying. Look at Brother Sizemore putting it down. Nikki Carter said, Tiger messed with the regular types. Now you know not. Listen, I'm saying to y'all this. If you're hanging out in an environment, you go, first of all, most ladies go where they can afford to get in. Now, they know once they get in, it's always going to be some men that's willing to buy you some drinks or do whatever, depending on how you look, what you got on, your level of access. But many of them, not all, ain't willing to pay what it costs to get in the door. So if you go to clubs where the drinks is $10, you're going to meet guys that's willing to pay $10 for drinks. But if you go to the club where the drinks is $40 or $50, you're going to meet somebody that got a different level of access to capital. But if we go back to the question, why you out here looking for something that you yourself have not achieved, and then you downplaying what this person is doing? Nikki Carter said, stop it, Tiger had no discretion. Ty Matthews, one of the ones he cheated with was a Waffle House waitress. Listen, go on with that, Nikki Carter. What's the problem? So I'm saying these things to you that you have resulted to some, not all, have resulted to utilizing artificial intelligence to increase their probability, you got the computers telling you you're not going to get the type of man you're looking for. I don't even know how the computer knows, but the computer knows that you ain't gonna get them. I said, you're not the norm. I've heard a lot of big dudes complaining about big girls and the same size as him. Let me say this. Big girls is winning. I don't care what nobody say. The last, and I cannot think of the girl name. Somebody told me this girl name. She a full-figure person. She be out there wilding. I can't think of, but one of y'all gonna remind me. But anyway, so how does the computer know just off the data you put in, you're not finna get and or keep somebody in a space that you can't yourself? See, first of all, why you judging? Why you judging with this individual? Y'all done been so specific. He got to be 6 feet. Most of y'all 5'1". What you want somebody 6 feet for? I'm just saying. Most of you all are regular. And ain't nothing wrong with being regular. But you think you deserve greater than regular. You think you better than the very person that you looking for. That's probably why the computer said, nope, you ain't gonna win. But let me tell y'all, stop going on these sites, doing all this hemming and hawing. And let me tell y'all what you could do. And I did a little research today, because y'all know I like to give y'all knowledge to help y'all. I'm not knocking what you're doing, but I just want to help you get to the promised land, if you will. If you wanted to know what's the likelihood of, matter of fact, let me say this, as a matter of principle, if you keep making the pot thin, you're not going to get nothing out the pot, no way. That's fact number one. Let me tell you why I say that. I took the state of North Carolina. I'm going to show y'all, see, I'm a statistical type of guy, so I like to do my own research. The total population of North Carolina is estimated in 2023 to have been 10.8 million people. Now they tell me of the 10.8 million people, more than 5 million of them was women. And one statistic said there was 250,000 or more women than men off the top in the state. So I said, man, all right. But y'all know Uncle Sinclair looks out for y'all. So I had to do some more figures, because I got to a site that said it could be as much as 13 to 1. 13 women for every 1 man. And I said, well, the numbers ain't panning out. But let me tell you how I got those facts. You started off with 250,000 more women than men. To that, you had to add another 100,000. That put 350,000. Then I found out that there are 101,000 men locked up in the state of North Carolina. 100,000 dudes locked up out of the 135,000 incarcerated people. 101,000 of them are men. So you got to add that 100,000 to the 350. Then in the state of North Carolina, statistics have that there are 67,000 men who identify as being gay. That don't mean it ain't more than that, because there are some down low brothers out there. But those who have registered and identified as being gay is 67,000. You got to add that to the number. Then I went and got how many of these men or males are 18 or under. 703,000 of those identified as male are under 18. Now, I know that some of you cougars will get with somebody under 18. But for the purposes of this information, there are 1,221,000 more women than available men in the state of North Carolina. Out of the 10 million total population, there were only 4 million and some change of men in total. But by the time you reduced all of these categories, men who are locked up, that means they not available. The 67,000 who identify as being gay, they not available to you all. The 703,000 who are under the age of 18 should not be available to you all, but some of y'all got a little extra thirst about yourself. You might be violating the code, but that means there's 1,221,000 more women than available men. Now, let me tell y'all what that means. And just to let y'all know, I pulled the data from the Department of Corrections and everything. This ain't nothing I was making up. I went and got my facts. All right? Went and got the facts. Look, I ain't even give y'all the ones that's on probation. For those that's in the pool, we got an extra 59,000 that's on probation. Another 9,000 that's on parole, but we know y'all will date men on parole and probation. So I ain't even add them. Nikki Carter said we're gonna talk about the 50 part TikTok. I ain't talking about that because I ain't seen it. Big Dog said women gonna have to share based on them numbers. Now, I ain't getting involved in that one direction or another, but I'm saying to you ladies, when you do, and listen, those of you who are in Georgia, your numbers is worse because your percentage of gay men is much higher. But I'm gonna let you look up your own state information. But I'm saying this to you all. While you sitting up in a computer program, typing in all the specificity of your needs, you want them to be 6 foot. You want them to be built. You want him to be in shape. You want him to be making 80 to 100,000 a year. You want him to do X, Y, Z. All these things you want. And it's 1,200,000+ more women than men just in the state of North Carolina. But you around here acting like you got a right to be nitpicking. And I know what some of y'all gonna say. I got standards. And you should have standards. But don't let your standards, your choices, your desires, your needs be something greater than what you are. See, because I got this thing about life. And I believe that if a person is a good person, it shouldn't matter what they earn if they can take care of their own responsibility. I don't believe that what a person earns should dictate whether or not you find them to be a quality person in a relationship. See, but when you out here and you are allowing yourselves to go down the proverbial rabbit hole because you out here, somebody passing along links to AI sites that tells you how you can increase your odds. Big Dog said, can a 5'7" guy not be a good man? Sure he can, Big Dog. Ty said, with those statistics, now no one ever need complain about black women dating and nationality. See, Ty, that's why you always coming up with some simplistic thing. Maybe instead, and matter of fact, I did not break these down by race. I said there's 1,200,000 more women than men. I didn't say them black men or whatever. I don't care which denomination you're dating. But it's funny to me that since you brought it up, Taya, that it seems like when black women do date outside of their race, y'all seem to lower your standards of what you accept or don't accept when it comes to a white man. See, that's the thing right there. You got these standards when you're talking about black men. But I done seen a whole bunch of black women with white men that ain't making 100 grand a year. I done seen black women with a white dude making 40, 50,000. And I'm not knocking that, because any man who got a job, is hard working and willing to meet you halfway, that's a good dude. But I just want to know why some of y'all feel like this the standard for you. Because you wouldn't want nobody to isolate you to say a good woman who makes less than $100,000 a year, you shouldn't mess with her. To me, that wouldn't make sense. If you want a good woman, find a good woman. But see, what done happen is TV done messed y'all up. Social media done messed y'all up. Your homegirls done messed you up. Got y'all believing that, one, your options is greater than what they are. Because if it's in the state of North Carolina, hold on, what is Nikki talking about? Absolutely, but some of these short ones are terrorists. You know what, Nikki Carter? See, I'm trying my best. She talking about, so I can't have preferences? I want you to have preferences. But you know what, Nikki Carter? I want you to be what you're looking for. How about that? If you say you want a good man, be a good woman. If you say you want somebody with a good attitude, have a good attitude. You say you want a man to be realistic, be realistic. There ain't no man that I know of that ain't one of them TV men that y'all watching Real Housewives of America or Some Planet or some state, or the Superman that married to this, or First Date, I Got Married to You, or whatever you're watching. There ain't no real dude that got to go to work every day gonna be that fake thing you see up there. And the real question ought to be this: if you found what you was looking for, why would that person, if you got that kind of attitude, why would that person want to rock with you? Nigga say, I'm a sweetheart. I'm good at having a great attitude and so nice. Nikki Carter, shut up. You say that. You were just talking about being on dating sites, and you are the leader of the Me Too movement. You got so much disdain for me, you don't know what to do with yourself. James Key, but I'm not lying though. Listen, I'm trying to get y'all to process this. Again, I want you to reconcile with yourself. When you create this fictitious thing in your mind that whoever you out looking for, you want them to meet what you want them to be what you see or what you hear on social media or at the hairdresser or on TV, you need to go on those areas and find them. He ain't real. Because you can't meet those standards. Some of y'all want a man to be sitting up under you all day. That's why many of you love to deal with a dude that sell drugs, that's out in them streets, that ain't got no full-time job, because you can keep him up under your wing. Because a real dude that's going to be making 100 grand a year or more, or 80 grand, as the first lady said, he got to be at work. To earn those type of numbers, you got a level of responsibility. James said, your standards are science fiction. Tell him, James. This is real. I'm keeping it 100 with you. You want something, You're asking for conditions. You're asking for an individual that got to get out there and get it. Nobody's paying you 80 to 100 grand or a year or more for you to sit around and be on the couch watching TV and playing footsie and playing video games. That's what y'all used to having. You wanted a thug in your life. Now you done got older. You want to have somebody 6 feet tall making 6 figures, whatever. But did you put yourself in that space? And if you found that, would you mess it up? Because what you bringing to the table, what would make somebody in that space want to rock with somebody who went on an AI program to find them? Come on now. Look here, it's 9 o'clock. Y'all done got me buzzed out up here, got me amped up. All I'm telling you is, before you get out here, ladies, and I got to go. Before y'all get out here with all these stipulations and you trying to go to the Make a Doll Baby Foundation, go make you a man and all that. Hold on, what did Annie Moore say? She said, I'm old school, don't need a dating site and all that hype. Uh-oh. See, that's what grown women tell y'all. Y'all better start listening to some of these seasoned women. Because while y'all out here trying to build a bear, you need to ask yourself, can you afford that emotionally, mentally, physically, all these other things? You got to ask yourself all the things that you keyed into that website asking for. What you going to do if you catch that kind of lion in the jungle? Everybody want a pit bull when they a puppy. But when the pit bull get grown and you didn't know how to train them, you didn't know what was required to maintain a pit bull, now all you got is a killer in the backyard that you about to go to jail for because he gonna bite and kill somebody. I'm just saying. Ask yourself those real questions. When the ratio in some states, Felicia Denny, glad to see you. Nikki Carter talking about I can afford it. Nikki Carter, I'm not talking about, let me be clear. And I normally wouldn't even go over my scheduled time. But for you, Nikki Carter, I will tonight. I ain't talking about whether or not you might have a few dollars where you might be able to afford to do some things. I'm talking about, can you afford to do it in terms of who you are as a person? Can you afford to do it? Because let me tell you what doesn't happen. Let me say this so I can educate. Y'all could treat me like I'm the AI website tonight. I'm giving you some information so that it can help you. If you do happen to capture somebody in those magical demographics that you see on TV, you better certainly recognize that he ain't like that dude that you had out there chilling with that was playing PlayStation all day. He's not putting up with the foolery because he ain't got to. Why? Because the computer done told you it ain't that many of them out there for you to get. All that bad attitude, I ain't got to do this, I ain't going to do that, talking crazy, acting crazy. Why would somebody that's in that bracket deal with it? That's what them thugs do. They got to you because you're willing to trick off money on them. But when you out there dealing with a real dude that don't need you for nothing financially, he looking for somebody that got a good attitude, that recognizes that he done been through a hard day at work and he ain't trying to come home and have to battle you because he was battling at work all day. It costs to be the boss. Some of y'all want to do that and want to run them. You can't run no grown man that's out there like that. I'm just trying to help y'all. Look at here. She talking about some absolutely I can. Nikki Carter said, we ain't messing with no PlayStation person. I'm not saying you personally. I'm saying when you got all these statistics and you allowing social media, your home girl, the TV, and whoever else to control your mind, be careful when you ask for that exotic pet. Be careful when you go out there and say, I want to get me a lion. Because at some point, that cub going to turn into a grown lion. And you ain't going to be able to feed or handle him because you don't know what it takes. You ain't no zookeeper. You know what? Y'all about to get up on my site. Look, I got to go. It's about that time, baby. I gotta go, people. We can pick this up next week. Whatever comedy show we gonna rock with it next week.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It's on.
Run it to your friends. Come on.
Come on.
It's a moment of the show tonight.